Welcome to Business Talk, our weekly University of Rio Grande, Ohio State University South Center's podcast show. We are here at the University of Rio Grande TV studio. Not only are we doing live internet radio through Blog Talk Radio, but we're also live on the Jackson Educational Access Channel and Channel 17 University of Rio Grande TV channel. Our podcasts are archived and placed on YouTube for viewing and listening again. Our mission is simple: to promote the University of Rio Grande and its diverse educational programs, promote the Ohio State University South Centers and its many business technology programs, and promote small business and its support organizations. And finally, promote Southern Ohio, a great place to live, learn, and enjoy life to the fullest. Co-hosts are Jason Winters, Director of the Center for Small Business Entrepreneurship, and Mike Thompson, Instructional Design and Media Services Director, both with the University of Rio Grande. We also have Patrick Dengel, Business Development Specialist, and Kimberly Roush, Program Assistant, both with the Ohio State University South Centers. We also have myself, MBA student Nate Walzer, as a co-host. And here's Patrick to introduce our guest this week.
Well, thank you, Nate. You know, Nate, small businesses worldwide are seeing videography as becoming very important in our daily lives. It can be used to capture special moments, tell a story, educate, market a business. Today we're featuring one of our co-hosts, but Mike Thompson. He's the Instructional Media and Design Services Director here with the University of Rio Grande. Mike has much business experience in the media that includes radio, television, audio, videography. He has his own business. He's able to capture important occasions such as weddings, anniversaries, special events. And here at the university, we have two students. Behind on that is Justin and of course you, Nate. And if we did not have the instructional media program, wow, where would we not be? But Mike, thank you for being willing to be featured today. It's great having you here.
Here we are again.
Perhaps you'd like to talk a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in a small town in a cabin. No, no, I was born here in Gallia County. Went to Gallia Academy. After that, went to the military. Served with the U.S. Army. I was a radio television systems engineer. Was at Walter Reed for a year. Was in Germany for 3 years with American Forces Network in Frankfurt and Bremerhaven, Germany. Then I worked at Channel 13 in Huntington, Channel 53 in Chillicothe, Columbus. Was chief engineer of the local radio station 101.5 and 99.9 AM, I think. It's been a while. And then I got a job here about 24 years ago, and
you fell in love with the University of Rio Grande, didn't you?
I suppose.
I think that's one phrase for it.
Well, one good thing about working for the university and not in broadcasting, not putting down broadcasting anyway, but when you have children and a house and a life and all that, it's a little bit tougher because if you're sitting at home watching television, there's somebody there working, and that was usually me. So, you know, holidays, any day, time, overnight, whatever.
But more importantly, I think this position, you had earned the position as the director over a program that's very important, not only to the university itself and to Southern Ohio, but and you have seen the changes that have occurred, going from tubes to transistors to microchips.
Yeah, I was trained on tube televisions.
Wow.
If you can believe that. And tube cameras.
Well, we can definitely believe that.
Yeah, you can.
Back in my day, whippersnapper.
It was much harder to use a camera back then.
You gotta have an eye for it, don't you?
That still applies. What you have in frame is the same. And the same holds true with any other type of media or whatever it is, the story holds it. You know, whether it's a movie, if it's a class, it's the content that drives everything. Now, how you juice that up with imagery and all that, that's the icing. And it's not that it's not important, but if you don't have a good story, the movie or the lesson or whatever is just going to fall flat.
Well, I know that you work with a number of different students here on how to create various different videos. I know that YouTube in the last, 3 years, 4 years, there has just been a tremendous amount of things coming on YouTube. I don't know how many millions of programs.
I hate to guess, but YouTube is used a lot in the classroom today. Everybody uses it, and if you want to know how to do something, YouTube is a great place to look. I mean, I was looking on how to change the lower A arm on a 99 VW Jetta, and it was there.
A lower arm?
Front suspension arm.
Oh, okay.
It has arms and legs on his car.
Yeah. It's a transformer.
Well, he's an engineer. What can we say, Nate?
No, you can find practically anything. And if it's not there, maybe you ought to make it.
Hey, and one of the neat things that you're really doing, you know, for instance with Justin, eventually we're going to be featuring Justin, but Justin has an interest in a career in working with pictures and YouTubes.
Yeah, I've seen some of the work he's done without class, and it looks pretty good. So hopefully we can improve those skills and be a very valuable asset to me or someone.
And I think that's what you were talking about, having that eye.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
If you don't have an artistic eye.
Well, besides knowing how to compose a picture, the trick is seeing the picture. And photography and videography are kind of the same, except I'm taking 30 pictures a second and they're taking, you know, 1 or 2 every 30 seconds. But seeing the picture is almost a gift. Composing you can teach, but you know, say like if I'm at a wedding, you have to like see all around you at all times just to see what's going on. You know, say they're taking pictures. Them taking pictures may not be the coolest thing going on. It may be the flower girl who's over here messing around with something or playing, or you know, there could be something very cute that you can capture. So you've got to be very aware of everything going on.
And you know, you have seen in the particular classroom how the changes have been coming about with all of the different programs and software. You know, one of the things I want to get into is your particular business, but
I think the first thing that I wanted to highlight was instructional media.
Yes.
When I started here, we had 2 televisions and VHS players and 10 overhead projectors.
Seems like you guys have come a long way since you've been here.
Yeah, there's a lot of money between there and then and now. Sometimes I've wondered if it was a great, you know, what was the great move from going from an overhead projector to a computer and an LCD projector. The overhead and a piece of plastic costs like $400 maybe. Now you've got a $2,000 laptop, a projector that's $1,000, and a cart that's $500, basically showing the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For a while that was true, that it just kind of was a replacement for that. But now that we've got the internet and wireless and YouTube and all these online things,
stuff you can do
now, yeah, I think people were starting to move away from the PowerPoint presentations somewhat, and enriching their class with media that they find elsewhere.
I think that's very, very true, as we are moving into hybrid classes, and perhaps
a hybrid class, if people don't know what that is, okay, there's online classes which take Blackboard, which is under my department. Blackboard is a place. It's the software that runs your online class. a hybrid class would be the in-classroom type of class, but it's also has that online component. Maybe you hand in your stuff. Maybe you do your homework or your tests on there. So it's has a little bit of both. Or maybe you meet for one day and you do 2 days online.
So what are the advantages of having a hybrid class?
One of the advantages to the professor is you have record of everything. You know, if you're going to hand it in, tests can be automatically graded. The student, there's flexibility. You know, maybe you meet that one day, maybe you meet Monday, but you've got other things that you are responsible for the rest of the week. So you do that online, but that's up to you and your schedule. So you can work that out on your own.
Well, in a way, we sort of represent two very traditional universities. And what, in Ohio we have 18 state universities, and each one is taking advantage somewhat of the technology.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that really impresses me here at the University of Rio Grande is the fact that we are not letting the new technology interfere with the educational process. There are some students that love that coming to classes, and there are some students that love working on their own.
The thing I like about the online classroom, say like in Blackboard, is there's no back of the room. And that is something I'm going to try and get rid of in this building that we're in now. Is going to be renovated next year. I'm going to try and get rid of the back end of the class. Maybe put the teacher in the center with everyone around them or something, so that there's
nobody can hide in the back and just
exactly
coast through.
In the like church.
Can I interject that? Yeah, I previously taught. We had VTEL, which is is that pretty much what you're talking about? Where I taught at one location live, and they were filming two other locations.
This is an online computer thing. It's not video.
Okay, is that something you might be considering also, VTEL?
We've got Polycom.
Okay.
It's just another company does the same thing. But we have 3 classrooms that has interactive video.
Okay. I have one other question about, you're talking about technology. Previous institution I was at, every classroom was a smart classroom, had Elmo technology. Is that something you see for most of the classrooms sometime in the future, hopefully?
I would love to have it everywhere.
Yeah, because I look in some class, I feel like the 90s again. Yeah.
Right, as we can afford it. I mean, some of our classrooms over here have still the TV and the overhead projector. But as we can afford
some classes just have a board. That's all they have.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Once you get used to technology, you get spoiled. It's hard to go back.
Yeah. I would love to have it everywhere, but I just haven't had, or wasn't given the budget to put it everywhere.
Okay.
A smart board in a classroom with everything you need is probably going to run $8,000 to $9,000 each. Times however many.
You may not need in every classroom, because there's certain professors who may not care about having. So maybe you could have it for those who would wish to have that for their.
Yeah.
So it may not necessarily need to be in every class.
No, but as those professors go away and retire and things, I think it's going to be expected.
Right.
Because it is that way in the public schools.
Right.
And the students that are coming here. 5 years ago, we had students coming here that were amazed, like, that's a chalkboard. I haven't ever seen one. We only had whiteboards. It's just, it's harder to keep up when you're not public funded.
Yeah.
I think. Or if you don't have a nice donor somewhere.
Yeah, donors always help, yes.
So if there's any donors watching, Instructional Media,
feel free to chip in.
Yeah.
But it does bring up a point that I think Nate was alluding to, in the fact that it really depends upon the instructor's ability and willingness to instruct, and their own creativity in using some of those tools.
Well, that's one thing where the class or the teacher has to change when you get technology. You cannot any longer walk into the room with a book and a piece of chalk and wing it. You have to create the PowerPoint. You have to find the videos. You have to make a video. If it's a smart board with their smart notebook software, you have to create the thing that they're using on the smart board, the lesson. You know, the smart board is just not the thing you touch. The smart board is also software where you can reveal things, play games on the board, get the people and the students out of their chair to come up and, you know, move things around. If you want to diagram stuff, then you can take your pens and things, or, you know, there's a lot of planning that needs to go on. So
that is very true, and I think on those smart boards, the technology has been around for 15 years, 10 years?
Definitely around 10. I'm not sure, plus or minus 5, but.
And I know it took my wife, she's a second grade teacher, about 60 hours to learn the basic mechanics, but now it's an everyday thing in the classroom.
You know, just the mechanics is easy. It's, if you just want to think about it, it's just a projector that is shining its image upon a mouse pad. Mm-hmm. And that's really all it is.
Yes.
It's just an input device.
Mm-hmm.
But what you do with it and how creative you are with it, that's up to you.
And they have paper now that I believe if you write on the paper, you can immediately put that into a computer. Is that not correct? Or I know that they've been working on that.
There's a couple different ways.
It'd be the pen if they'd have to put it in. The paper you could just scan.
They almost like an overhead where basically the days were used to make actual transparency. You don't need to do that anymore. It actually, you just put a piece of paper up, prints it right on the screen.
Well, it's not really printed. It's just it's a
it
camera, right?
Projects it, yes.
But where I thought that would be most used would be in biology. You know, in those instances, you would have, you know, if you're dissecting a frog or whatever, you can dissect this thing and it'll be blown up 7-foot image on the front. You don't have the students crowding around you anymore, seeing what's going on. Mm-hmm. So you can blow, you know, real objects up larger. But
be really
here,
beneficial in like an anatomy class or something.
Yeah, here
counting too would be good.
I've seen more English professors using it. I don't know if they're reading from the page, but I get more calls from the English department wanting to use Elmos than any other department around here.
That is amazing. Mike, you also have owned Video Ventures. Is that the name? Right. And you've been doing that for how many years?
It's 12 since '94. No, it's longer than that. So it's
18.
It was before the turn of the century.
Format class.
I can't remember. I'm getting old.
But you have.
I started doing video in the '80s and basically got kind of pushed into making the business, because people would call me and it's like, hey, you know, everybody knew I could do that, and could you make a video for me? And so I wanted to do it legitimately, and, you know, because I want to pay taxes, you know, but not have to take all the money under the table. I want to do it legitimately and the right way. So I got a name and a business account, and all that kind of thing. I pay the state taxes, federal taxes, and all that kind of thing. So, you know, if somebody has questions somewhere, that I don't get burnt legally somewhere.
Well, yeah, I think you're too valuable to be fined heavily for doing something that is.
Well, one of the things that videographers struggle with is the, you know, say like with weddings, I charge $800 to do a wedding, and that's with one camera, and I'm there basically all day, from when she gets in the dress till almost the end of the the reception. And then it's going to take me a little over a week to edit. And a lot of the creativity, what I can do, is in the editing part. And that's something when you hire a professional like me to do whatever your project is, it's going to look polished. It's going to look about like a TV program. You know, a lot of people say, well, my uncle's got a video camera, I'll have him shoot it. And then he's sitting in a pew. You get conversations around you. It's not steady. It's not close up. The sound's awful.
It's not, he's not getting the professional value that you'd give and all the little extra features that you give.
Yeah, I've been given
angles, all the the commentary, talking to the
I get
brides and all that
interviews,
stuff.
all that stuff, and your uncle's not going to do that.
He'll probably have a few too many beers anyways, and then
then they'll forget the camera over here. I see a lot. One of the things that I do, I get in the action. A lot of people are kind of shy, and they'll just set up a camera on a tripod in the corner to get the reception. You know, so you'll see the cake over there and the dance floor over here, and it's just a static shot. You know, I've been given quite a few of these videos to, can you fix this? Like, no. Not even going to bother. If they're doing the chicken dance in a circle, I'm in the middle of the circle. I'm just not doing the chicken dance, but I'm videotaping, and I've been told that I blend in real well. I'm not obtrusive, and you know, I don't get in the way, so that's pretty easy.
But where the professional, I think, is it's that editing. You know, we have to sort of look at the time. Let's just suppose it takes you 5 hours of filming for a wedding, or is it more hours?
It's more about 12.
So if you have 12 hours, obviously
12 plus another 40, 48.
Obviously, just going through that 12 hours once, knowing what you want to get rid of, is very time consuming.
Yeah. And people think, well, that's a lot of money for one day's shooting, but
it's something you want to remember forever. So,
if you've invested $10,000 to $30,000 into a day,
it's something you want to have high quality.
And I had a daughter get married, and we had pictures and we had a video. Oh, I did the video, but anyway.
How much did you charge yourself?
that was just free. But personally, I see a lot more value in the video, because say your best man made a toast and it was really funny, or you were doing dances, you know, maybe they did a special dance, the first dance or whatever. I got that. I got the audio and the video and everything about it. The photographer has a guy standing there with a microphone or in one pose with the dances. You know, so there's a lot of value in it. And I've been told by brides that, you know, I didn't even know half this stuff happened, and it was really great to see. Yeah. And the other people's comments were good. And besides doing that, I do promotional videos for promotional and training videos for companies, and they've seen quite a bit of return on that, I think.
What is the value of that for a business?
Well,
you can't put it
for
in
one,
value, obviously, but
it gets okay. You can put the video on the web. You can. What I did for one company who retreads tires, I show their processes and all that. So you, as a consumer, you know, if you were wanting to use their services, you could be familiar and see how they actually do stuff and become comfortable enough to want to spend money there. Or you can be the process or their product can be made more clear, so you know what you're getting. Mm-hmm. And you can make your sales pitch and get to know your, you know, business is all about relationships, and that is a big part of building relationships.
I would venture to say so. We only have a couple more minutes, and one of the questions I wanted to ask, as you are working with the Justins and the Nates. Why is it so important for almost any student to understand about the media services, the videography, the audio, the radio? Why do you feel that that's important for as many students to be involved a little bit?
There's a lot of bad video out there. Right now, everybody has something to capture on you. You know, you've got, say, like if it's an iPhone, you have a still camera, you have a video camera, and you can upload stuff. And I'd like to see, you know, the bar raised as far as what gets out there. Mm-hmm. But media is everywhere. And the delivery of media is everywhere. You know, you used to have to go to the store and pick up a DVD or VHS to watch a movie or something. You can be sitting in the park on wireless and watch it on your iPad or whatever. So, you know, YouTube's, Vimeo, communicating with people. I just think it's very important to be aware and educated how to use this. It's getting to where it's as important to be aware and educated on that as it is to write. You know, writing is communication. We're into a world where video and audio is communication as much or more than.
You know, one of the things that I see is in 2 or 3 years, instead of sending a piece of paper to a prospective employee, that perhaps we send a 30-second video to
yeah, you could have a video resume.
Yes. And that, you know, let's face it, if there's a job that's available, there's at least 20 or 30 individuals. Yeah, I'm talking about the white-collar kinds of jobs.
That was standard, or is standard, for people in broadcasting. You know, you want to see your tape, you know, how you present the news or whatever, or how you've edited stories. But I think it's going to grow.
And that seems like really familiar with trying to find a job now. And when you're going to, when people want to interview you, doing online interviews and stuff. So.
Yeah, very, very much so.
We do a lot of Skype interviews here.
Yeah.
So you don't have to drive from 3 states away for us to talk to you. Mm-hmm. We can Skype with you and talk to you and find out whether you're just a weirdo or not.
Did not introduce.
Yeah, we sucked him into the conversation over here.
This is Dr. Daniel Bernstein, mm-hmm. who comes to the University of Rio Grande with the hospitality program. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be talking about his particular program next week. But you have come from Pennsylvania,
right.
And you have seen technology,
right? Mm-hmm.
And
just to say, it's involved. When I first started teaching back in the 80s, I taught, of course, every classroom was a chalkboard. When I used to show videos, I had to actually get a actual film projector and put a reel on a reel. It was before even we had VHS. So things, and that was real painty. So things have really come a long way as far as technology.
That was my first confusion here. Is somebody would say, "I want to show a film," so I'd deliver a 16mm projector. It's like, no, it's a tape. It's like, well, you should have told me that.
Yeah. So I'm saying things. If I think about that back then and what our deal that was, this is
and slide tape presentations, film loops.
Yes.
We ought to
slide projectors.
Yeah, we used to teach all that here.
Oh yeah.
How to put up screens.
Yeah. Oh,
well, next week, as you know, we're going to be talking with Dr. Dan. Any final words, Mike, about the technology, your business?
I'm here to teach classes about it, and also here to take care of your video needs.
Thank you for listening. I'm Patrick.
I'm Mike.
I'm Nate.
Thanks for watching.
I'm Dan. Got it.